Michael Carnevale is Branch Manager and Financial Advisor. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, 400 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Massachusetts, 1-800-657-9126. A member of FINRA SIPC and are not deposits, not insured by FDIC or any governmental agency, not guaranteed by Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank, and subject to risk, may lose value. Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank is not affiliated with Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated. The information contained in this report does not purport to be a complete description of the securities markets or developments referred to in the material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Any information is not a complete summary or statement of all available data necessary for making an investment decision and does not constitute a recommendation. Any opinions are those of Michael Carnevale and not necessarily those of RJFS or Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Richard Morco. It's the Long Hill Report. Conversations with, as usual, Mike Carnevale. Mike will be steering us right about the economy. If that can be done in the way things are going lately, we will be certainly grateful. And if after the end of this show, you would hit the like and subscribe button, or any time during it, our gratitude would know no bounds. This week, this past week, last few days even, unbelievable amount of news. More news than I think we've seen in years. And if you're shocked by now, if you're not shocked, it's a different world. We've had the events of the bombing, not the bombing, the taking of the leader of Venezuela, which, if you know anything about the Monroe Doctrine or the Constitution, seems like an act of war that is anti-constitutional and lacks a little sanity. But it happened. The man who is the current incumbent president of the United States didn't stop there and keep screaming about having to take over Greenland. A lot of polar bears up there, not too many people, but a lot of minerals and things that could be stolen. And his own senator, one of the senators in his own party, Tom Tillis, has called this stupid. And we agree. I believe I agree. But what is going on is beyond comprehension almost. Michael?
And through this all, the stock market continues to make all-time highs.
And that's all Mike cares about, folks.
How do you figure?
That's all we care.
You know, I mean, you talked about the attack and capture there in Venezuela. What happened the next day? The stock market went up like 600-700 points to an all-time high. I think at times you were living in a time where I think, am I awake? Is this a dream? Is this really happening? I don't know, but stock market doesn't seem to be worried about anything.
Yeah, what's going on? I mean, you're the guy.
Yeah, it's, well, you know, how do you explain this? I don't know if you can, but I think it's like, okay, so the stock market, at least the experts say, the stock market's not concerned about the past or the present, it's more concerned about the future. And maybe they're saying, the market is saying, hey, look, you know, we got a midterm election coming up in 10, 11 months. So we don't have 3 more years of this. We only have a year more of this. Okay, so that would make some sense. That's why the market is doing as well as it is. You know, initially back in the election of 24, the market really tanked. It was very volatile, if you recall, for a while, and then the volatility started to dissipate, and we see that in that volatility index. And well, why is that? Well, people would say, they're discounting now what the president says. The market hung on every word initially, and now when he says something, people just discount it. And so, they're looking to the future. I don't know, but I think...
Well, this was not just, I mean, yeah, there's lunacy in what he says. We are like when he ran on letting people see the Epstein stuff. Then he gets in there, stop it, why are you concentrating? Wait a minute, there's a disconnect there, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that the market and we're discounting it, but he acts insanely. I mean, this is going into another country against the Constitution, against what the Monroe Doctrine really is. Of course, now he has the Donroe Doctrine. I think he's turned a corner, and there's not sanity there. I think he should be impeached for what he did. Which Congress has the say over war. Mm-hmm. Congress, Article 1, Section 8. Congress to say, oh, la-di-da, I'm done. Now, other presidents have done that.
Right.
But, I mean, it's just, this is so unbelievably blatant.
Yep.
And I mean, I watched him on the press conference. He sounded crazy. But the Donroe, a sane person would be embarrassed to say that.
Yeah.
So well, I'm not. I think it's gone almost beyond the impeachment. I'm thinking 25th Amendment.
Well, yeah, but.
And I was not anti-Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give everybody a chance. Give him a chance. I mean, I saw Biden go off the rails, and it's time for him to go. All right, Trump.
Well, there's a big difference between the Trump first term and
big difference. You're right.
It's like 180 degrees.
Oh yeah, quite so.
But until someone stands up.
Well, like I said, Tom Tillis, his own senator, said this is crazy.
Yeah, but.
So you get one guy. I saw, Warren, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Richard Neal, my congressman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's wrong. Stop being mealy-mouthed. Say impeachment. Say 25th Amendment.
Yeah.
Stop being mealy-mouthed.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If you're mealy-mouthed, I think you don't really care. I think you probably are all right with it. You're probably saying to your cousin, hey, buy some stock.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard to explain, really. I mean.
No. You
yeah.
think so?
The effects that this is, I mean, and we see it every day. It's gone beyond trying to explain it now. You've got to take the thought that hopefully these other things happen and this brings things back a little bit to to the real world, really, because how it all ends. I mean,
how will it come back to the real world? What's he going to do? I mean,
well, he won't be able to do it. It's going to require.
There's some things I think he was sane on. Not bugging the Ruskies. It's probably okay to do that. Mm-hmm. Albert Colby, his guy looking at China, basically, who was once a China hawk, so basically, maybe we'd back off on this. Middle East, he's still crazy. And he's not probably going to get sane
No,
on that.
no.
So I can't explain him. So if I can't explain him, I want him out.
Yeah, yeah. I would think, you know, a lot is going to hinge on the elections this year. And again, I always say, you know, people get what they want. This is what they wanted.
Well, you know, he wasn't. He won, and he beat Kamala. But that wasn't what they necessarily wanted. They just mostly, who wanted Kamala?
Right. And if you take a look at what he said in September, October of a year ago.
He's sane at that
right,
point.
to what he's saying now,
Yeah.
it's you know,
It's,
somebody's got to grab him and protect him because he's gone off the deep end, so to speak. And how this, in the end, affects people's financial situation, it's yet to be determined.
I will say this one thing. If something happens that the oil and the whole thing with Venezuela came to a situation where there was gas at $1 a gallon, people would say, wow, that's great.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
But, you know, if something went right,
Right.
and it's not beyond it's not beyond possibility. I don't think it's a probability, but it's not possible.
Well, you take a look at like the price of oil, a barrel of oil. It's done nothing or gone up a little bit since all this. So
yeah,
it's not like, hey, you know, as soon as that happened, suddenly the price of oil dropped $10 a barrel or dropped $5 a barrel. It didn't do anything, it went up a little bit. So that's kind of telling you that, you know, this is, and it, you know, it's sort of like, I'm going to bring back all the manufacturing. There was a study a couple of days ago that in order to get Venezuela pumping oil the way it did 10 years ago, it's going to take maybe the next decade to get it. So, I mean, I think, you know, these are very simplistic ideas he comes out with. And they change on a minute's notice. I mean, when there was this first talk about Venezuela, and they were blowing up the boats, and then they started capturing the tankers, you know, I said, and then this Epstein stuff came out. I said, you know, don't be surprised if we go to war with Venezuela as a way of, you know, changing the storyline. Now, we didn't go to war with them, but he did change the storyline.
he did.
And you know, and in the same token, he's talking about Colombia, Mexico, Cuba, Greenland. I mean, I could see him doing something in Colombia. He'd have to really be certified nuts, I think, to do anything with Mexico or Cuba or even Greenland. I think he'd have to really be nuts to do
I
that.
think he is definitely nuts.
But
I think he's nuts. I'm sorry, I'm not. I gave up my degree in psychology and mental health, so I'm not talking as a professional, just as somebody out here in Nowheresville. He's nuts. That's me. But that's me.
Well, there's a lot of things that get said that, you know, make you think that, saying, well, this isn't what a rational person would say. You know, glorifying the murder of 2 people by their child, or the day after the Kennedy woman died, you come out and say, well, my name should be on more buildings, I've done more. That's not what a...
Okay, I rest my case.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's...
You made my case.
I think it's gotten
All right,
tremendously worse.
let's get to the lovely stuff you like
Well,
December, second best.
it's sort of like, yeah, and then we turn now to the stock market, and it's sort of like we're in like on Fantasy Island. I mean, it's the market, it just keeps going up.
Holy smokes.
You know, December normally ranks as the second best month of the year. We hadn't had an odd number declining year in December since 2015, and the streak continued. The market went up nearly 1%. There were 2 all-time closing highs. The Dow finished 2025 up 13%.
Did you get your Santa Claus rally?
We did. That's the last 5 days, but it was close. It took the final day to turn the Santa Claus rally to reality. But we began the rally 5 days before the end of the year at an all-time high, and we ended 2 days after the New Year at an all-time high. So, yeah, I mean, we got another one coming up, the January barometer, which says as January goes, so goes the year. That's worked the last 4 years.
And we're doing well now.
We're doing well right now. I
We
mean,
still have most of the month. to
over
go.
over 49,000 on the Dow. You know, I mean, you look back on the dark days of the financial crisis, and geez, I remember being here.
I'm an old guy, so which financial crisis? 2008, 2008?
Yes,
2008?
08, 09.
I've been through a few financial crises.
Oh yeah, but I remember here, at 6,000 and 7,000, and somebody who's no longer here said, "Geez, if we can only get back to 10,000, that would be great." We're approaching 50,000. I mean, if
I told you the guy said to me many years ago, "Yeah, they're talking $3,000."
yeah, yeah. I mean, you listen to like old. You got to be. Well, we're talking crazies on the show, so you got to be crazy to be listening to some of this stuff. But you listen to some of these old business show reports, and they're ringing the bell, and the Dow cracked 1,000 today. It's almost 50,000 now. I mean,
And it probably will get there. But
definitely, yeah.
what does the guy here always say when why am I Jimmy Downer here?
right.
What do I always say? Inflation.
Yeah, about half of it is inflation.
I'd say quite a bit more.
Now, the market historically goes up 9% or so a year. Inflation historically is around 4%. So it's, it's about half.
Okay, we're not.
But I mean, for the people who stayed in there, unbelievable. I mean,
Okay, all right.
know.
All right, bonds. Talk to me.
well, interest rates, long rates have been going down. The short-term rate has been staying steady, although this past month, the 30-year bond actually rose a little bit to 4.8 from roughly 4.7. And the yield curve fell a bit, rose a bit, meaning because the long-term stuff moved more than the short-term stuff. So that's always a good sign. We're not inverted, which is usually a signal for a recession. And
Oh, wait a minute. How many years were we not in? We were inverted, and it wasn't.
And it wasn't. So it's hard to explain a lot of this that's happening, right? I mean, and not only in the market but in the world. But it is what it is, as they say.
Okay. Well, technicals. Go get them.
Well, they weakened a bit, and you would kind of expect that if the market has continued to go up. The moving average, which is how percentage of stocks above their 52-week average price, stayed about the same. Volatility really fell. Oscillator also did increase. That's a sign that prices may be short-term on the high side. And the greed and fear index also moved up. It moved from fear toward the end of December now to the greed area. So the short-term indicators are weakening, and historically, the market tends to take a pause mid-late January into February. So we may be seeing a short-term high right now. And then it tends to pick up again as you get closer to tax season, where a lot of money comes into the market for retirement and stuff like that. So, I mean, anything, nothing surprising, at least in the technical indicators this month. The Fed met, they cut rates again, and they increased their growth, and inflation continues to be a problem. But there's been a change at the Fed. 4 voters moved off the table and 4 new came in. The new group that came in is slightly more inclined to keep rates unchanged rather than cut. But the big thing is who's going to run the show come the summer. And although the president said today he knows who the person is, but he's not ready to announce it.
It's Marco Rubio. No. I wouldn't get shot.
Wouldn't it be something if it was himself?
I will both be. I will both be governor.
I can do both, you know.
It's the Don Rowe doctrine.
Yes.
At the Fed.
Yes. I mean, and I think, you know, I think a lot of this is all getting discounted because I think people are thinking, obviously, the midterm election, and that whoever comes in beyond him is going to unwind all of this. There's probably going to be a big yard sale at the White House. If you're interested in gold-plated stuff, you're probably going to get some stuff cheap in a few years.
Okay,
but,
Mike.
you know.
Well,
and there'll still be a picture of the biggest ballroom. It will not be actually physically there, just a photo of it.
Well, I don't know. I really haven't been following that. Is that being built, or
supposedly
just speculated?
Supposedly it's being stalled.
All right.
But again, another. Well, whatever. Interest rates around the world basically have been coming down. Bank of England cut rates.
I've been worried about Egypt. I've been waiting to hear about that.
Egypt now at 20%, and that's a reduction. The 9th highest in the world. And guess who has the highest interest rates in the world?
Liechtenstein?
Close.
Luxembourg? How about Venezuela?
You got it. Venezuela has the highest rates.
That's
at,
58.
Almost 59%. Yep. Turkey, our friend, has fallen to 2nd place at 38%.
Yeah, I haven't heard of you. Haven't been talking Turkey.
No,
you haven't been talking Turkey.
I've been talking Turkey since November 24th. Right? But no, and India cut rates, and then Canada, the European Central Bank, met and decided to do nothing. Only Japan voted to raise interest rates.
Any reason?
And a lot of that was inflation has gotten
bad
a lot higher than they want. Oil, we know, has stayed in the upper 50s through all of this
that's been quite a while,
craziness. So it remains to be seen. But again, as with the technicals, no surprise. Major news, also really no surprise.
Now, the drilling rigs, those are in America.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so.
Yeah. They continue to be less than they were a year ago.
But production is?
Production is up, and, you know, 75% plus of the drilling is the Permian Basin. You know, accounts for about 400 and something of the 500 and something rigs.
Has the shale gone away?
Seems to have quieted down. Yeah, you don't hear about shale anymore. A lot of that was in Canada, but you don't hear about that anymore.
So, so we don't really, at this point in time, we really are domestically. I guess is our petroleum all from the domestic market? Or do we, so we're not into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, production is near an all-time high. You know, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, inflation.
Well, these four economic reports that we like to look at. No other way to say, but they're all screwed up because due to the government shutdown, some of these reports have been canceled. So you're comparing, a report today that, is 2 months old. You're now into it, especially with the inflation numbers. You're now seeing different months being reported, like consumer price index is for 1 month and the producer price index is for a different month. So it's really hard to get a handle on what's really going on. To say that inflation is around 3%, which has gone up a bit, probably is not a good sign. They canceled the producer price index for October, and they didn't release anything yet for November. And now here we are in January. Leading economic indicators is another report that hasn't been released in months because of, catch-up work, and same thing with, a lot of state employment numbers, because they tie into the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports, and those have been all delayed. So I think people feel that the economy is slowing down, but you're looking at reports that are 2 or 3 months old, and there's no value in them really.
Just as a citizen, a walking around citizen, you say speculation that the economy is slowing down. I haven't felt in the last year or two that it's been at the speed of light to begin with.
Right. I mean, it has been. If we take a look at the employment report and stuff, that's showing less and less jobs being created, but that's also matched by less and less layoffs, which I think kind of tells you there are less and less people in the labor market. I would say all that's probably not good.
No.
I mean, and then you got the administration saying, well, we don't really need to have this economic report out monthly. We can produce it quarterly, and that's just all eventually it's all gonna catch up, right? And people are going to lose confidence, right? I mean, the only reason you invest in the stock market is you think things are gonna be better in 3 years, 5 years, right? 10 years, right? I mean, if you lose that confidence in that, that's when this all could, end badly. And it would be much worse than 2008, 2009 financial crisis, because it's coming from a much higher level and people are much more leveraged. It could be another 1973, 74 period where people were taking second and third jobs just to stay afloat. That's the real risk, and you just don't know how it's all going to end. But we've been saying that for over a year, and if you cashed out over a year ago or 2 years ago, you'd have missed out on a great run. So I think you just got to keep tuned to
what would be the alternative sources of information? You're at Raymond James,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm guessing they generate some stuff in house.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Fidelity and Vanguard do the same thing.
Do the same thing, right?
So what else is there out on the mass market that could be an alternative?
Well, most of these investment firms, and there are published studies, tend to be on the more positive side all the time.
I've noticed that with you.
Yep. And the reasoning that they're on the positive side all the time is there's a lot of money to be made, right, in investment banking and whatnot. So, I think you have to, so what do you got to do? You have to look at the stuff that is not sort of stuff that's produced by the firms. And that's technical indicators. Those are just sheer numbers, comparing a number today from a number in the past, and well, what happened when that number was at that level? Or you have to look at, you used to be able to, and I still think you can, these government economic reports. You know, because although people have questions about the administration, the people who are actually doing these numbers, the inflation numbers, the economic numbers, the jobless claim numbers, they're kind of really separate from that.
They're just technicians.
Yeah,
Well, they are, I think. I shouldn't say
they're
just.
probably the people who are saying the same thing a lot of people are saying, boy, this guy is really crazy, isn't he? But they're just producing the numbers. So I think that's what you have to look at. You know, if you look at any investment firm, not saying they're bad, but they do tend to always be more positive than negative, and the reason being is it's a lot of money on the investment banking side. The money's made on the investment banking side, not on the retail side. And so, you know, if you want to bring your company public, I'm not going to say anything bad about your industry, because you're then probably not going to come to us to float the stock.
I want to go public.
Okay, all right.
We'll be talking next week.
Okay, sounds good. But
Okay.
that's
Last couple of things, the jobless claims.
yep. Continue to be record lows. In fact, 2 weeks ago it was under 200,000 layoffs in a week. It only happened 2 times in the past year. So fewer and fewer people being laid off. But when you compare with the employment report, fewer and fewer people are getting hired. So it's going the other way now. You know, we lost, we lost 199,000. Excuse me, there were 199,000 layoffs 1 week, and for the entire month, the employment for November only gained 64,000. So you can see more people are being laid off than are being hired.
Not good.
No, eventually that's going to all catch up.
Okay. Well, I guess we've run through a lot this month.
Good thing is we're still here.
Well, you know, I'm just getting ready because I think we're going to have a big celebration when Greenland is admitted as the 51st state. I'm ready for it.
Is that before Cuba becomes the new Hawaii?
Well, you know, when Batista was there, which you don't even know who
No.
Batista was.
No.
He was before Castro. It was Hawaii.
Yeah.
It was of the Caribbean, and
Yeah.
then he got kicked out, and then it became the socialist paradise. So who knows? Who knows? You know, I'm sure there's real estate down there for you, Mike.
Probably is.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had enough of us, you're going to have to do without. Because this is the end, for now anyway.
Yes.
We hope.
Well, we can't predict the future.
Yeah, I never can tell. So we hope you enjoyed today's little episode, and hope to see you next month. This is Richard Morkel and Mike Carnevale saying good afternoon from Long Haul Report, Conversations with.